All right. Hi, everybody. Oops, this is Samir here. I'm from an educational consultant at GoElite. Today, we are partnering with Indiana Wesleyan University to talk about their affordable, accredited, and hybrid programs, specifically focusing on tech and AI programs. Um, just kind of like if you're new to the university or new to these programs, you'll be learning a bit. We'll be talking about classes and learning outcomes of the programs, and also talking about how AI could potentially support your career. The structure of this webinar is going to be as follows. We are going to have kind of an FAQ session with our folks from the team at IWU first. And during that time, first of all, please pay attention because, we do have this Q&A session where you can ask your questions directly in the Q&A section of the webinar. So again, you're more than welcome to do that. That's kind of the whole point of the webinar, but just do pay attention to to our FAQs themselves, because there's a good chance your question might be answered kind of before we get there, and we want to try and not repeat things. So yeah. Today we have a couple speakers with us, but before that, I'll go ahead and talk about who we are at GoElite. So GoElite here, we help with university counseling and admissions for different hybrid programs in the US, focusing on master's programs. We are certified by AIRC. And I would say, don't just take it from us. We are, or you could, if you want to check out what other people have to say about us, we do have a Google reviews page. You can check us out on Google, and you can see what other people have to say about us. So far, we have a pretty high rating from a couple hundred students. So that's maybe hopefully gives a little bit of credibility to our consulting services. So here are some programs that we're helping to help you guys as well. We actually also do have a rewards program where if you're interested in learning about some of the hybrid programs that we work with, just asking questions, giving feedback, you can enter our rewards program and actually get cash or get points that you can redeem for cash or gift cards. So that's exciting. And then we also, if you are going for the H1B lottery event this year, we do have a blessing event where we will collect your notes and wishes for the H1B and actually just hand deliver them and have them blessed in a temple in I think it's in Telangana or Andhra Pradesh in India. So go ahead and if you're interested in this, go ahead and check it out. We'll be happy to have you participate. So yeah, here's our contact information. We will have kind of QR codes at the end of this webinar that you can kind of get in touch with us. Actually, wait, do I have the QR codes here? Yeah, so actually over here on the left, if you want to get in touch with us via our English consultation with talking with me or anybody else on our team, you can scan the QR code on the left with the WhatsApp symbol. And if you want to do a consultation in Chinese on WeChat, you can go ahead and scan the QR code on the right. But yes, so that's a bit about us. Now we'll go ahead and hand it over to Nathan and the team at IWU to start out with some FAQs.
Thank you, Samir. My name is Nathan Hawkins. I'm the Executive Director of International Student Programs at Indiana Wesleyan, also serve as our PDSO. Last time we connected with GoElite, we went through our general program information application process. This time, wanted to invite two of our faculty members to dig in a little bit deeper on our new artificial intelligence programs and some of the highlights and features of those programs, as well as what you can do with those as you move forward into the workforce with the power of AI. So I just want to allow Dr. Cully and Dr. Metzger to introduce themselves, and then we'll ask a few questions and then open it up to the floor from participants as well.
Hello, so I am Clark Cully. I am the Technology Division Chair here at Indiana Wesleyan University. So in my role, I oversee our curriculum in technology-related fields, which includes cybersecurity, data analytics, artificial intelligence, and information technology management. So I'm responsible to develop and curate the content, vet the faculty, and provide overall strategic program guidance for our work here at Indiana Wesleyan. And before joining IWU about a year ago, I led research and development initiatives on artificial intelligence in the Department of Defense in the US.
Hello, everyone. My name is Dr. Sandra Metzger, and I am an adjunct faculty in the in this department. I also have been part of Indiana Wesleyan for a long time, like 25 years. So I have I love Indiana Wesleyan. My son, one of my sons graduated from Indiana Wesleyan. My husband and I both have degrees from Indiana Wesleyan. So I am a small business owner. I am working as an AI consultant and implementation coach with schools and businesses, and have been really blessed to have this opportunity to be part of the programs at Indiana Wesleyan, teaching artificial intelligence and other business communications and things like that to our students.
Thank you both. So the first question I have here is, what is important about students having access and opportunities to learn about AI as they go through their program?
So AI is an increasingly relevant competency in just about any business or industry. Ultimately, artificial intelligence tools help individuals and organizations make faster, better, more precise, more accurate decisions. And those who are early adopters in the field have a competitive advantage. And as we see more and more businesses and companies increasingly move towards digital native content, digital assets, software-based architectures and ecosystems, that digital advantage and even small increases in performance can have really big outsized impacts in their outcome, their competitiveness. And so the winners are the people who learn and use these AI-enabled forces to create new solutions to existing problems and to think ahead in this era of kind of increased technological change. How is it that we can use, people in partnership, in teamwork with tools like artificial intelligence to create a better result? And so we are seeing companies like Meta, which owns Facebook, letting go a lot of their legacy employees, legacy coders and developers, and hiring AI experts because they see this trend that more and more anything that touches software is going to be AI enabled, and it's important for people to have fluency in these skills if they're really going to, leverage this best world of man and machine kind of working together for increased advantage. I also think it's important that there are many industries still working to undertake this digital transformation, and it takes thoughtful leaders who can kind of bridge the gap from how things have been done traditionally in an area like banking or insurance, healthcare, consulting, whatever business sector you imagine, and helping that organization imagine what AI can do for them and for their products and customers, and kind of being a navigator or a steward to help them along that digital transformation journey. So we need not just AI researchers, but kind of AI stewards that can help managers and leaders at all different levels of an organization kind of re-envision the future of what they're doing. And so it takes people who have not just AI skills, but also business proficiency and acumen in that sector to be able to translate, kind of bridge that gap in imagination for that workforce. So those are just a few of the reasons. AI is increasingly an important cultural force in disrupting the way that we live, work, play, communicate, entertain ourselves. And so there's a lot of salient reasons that beginning that learning journey now will make you better prepared and more resilient for whatever types of work you're interested in next.
So Dr. Metzger, when I see your classroom at residencies, sometimes there's lots of arts and crafts and Legos. So I guess, how do you integrate artificial intelligence into your curriculum and into the classroom?
Well, the Lego activity that you might have seen is an introductory activity that I use with all different types of groups, and definitely used with my course or class at residencies. AI is a complex concept, and it's not just using ChatGPT. And so as a lifelong educator, I love figuring out ways to make complex concepts easier. And so we have a Lego activity where we really are just practicing the art of prompt engineering, but by playing with Legos. And as Dr. Cully said, you know, one of the really critical needs in our world today are leaders. And if you are studying AI, whether you like it or not, you are in a leadership role, because you are learning things that are at the cutting edge. And so how you respond to that responsibility is really important. And being able to communicate concepts to other people and help them, like Dr. Coley said, bridge the gap of imagination, right? So if you know, my students might end up using Legos to help a CEO and a department within a bank understand the possibilities with AI. So sometimes it's just best to play, to learn. And I did get that idea all by myself. I didn't even use AI to figure that out. But we use AI not just to teach, not just to learn about AI, but to help our learning. And so one of my favorite tools is custom chatbots, and there's a variety of tools that I use for that. And we have some that are embedded directly in our courses and are you know, part of the curriculum. And then there are some that I will make because something's not working quite right, or we find that there's a you know, additional step that a chatbot might help with. And so I have seen the ability of, or being able to leverage generative AI to create personalized, customized, on-demand assistance to students makes their learning experience so much richer. And you know, it also speaks 90 languages, or roughly so. And so sometimes it's really important that you learn English words, but then there's other times where the concept, it doesn't matter as long as you understand the concept, and having that the ability to engage with an AI tutor or assistant in whatever works best for you. But my most fun thing to do is help students learn how to make chatbots or AI assistants themselves, and take charge of their own learning and how they solve problems. So that's as far as we've gotten in our courses. But if you had been at our residency last week on Saturday, that's what we spent most of the day doing, and solving real world problems with custom made chatbots. So yeah, it's really exciting.
So we're continuing to experiment with what are the right educational tools and ed tech necessary to make for more engaging and interactive and personalized experiences for students. So in addition to being one of a smaller fraction of universities that's kind of embracing the use of commercial generative AI tools in assignment development, we're also looking for the right vendorship partners, often in the startup space, often new and kind of emerging companies that are really trying to bundle together the right services to create customizable content for students. So we talked a little bit about chatbots, but it could be eventually moving towards tools to help create an entire program and curriculum that's more tailored to the unique background and interests of students, that provide coaching and mentorship beyond just the course content, that help provide more gamified or interactive based case studies and simulations and opportunities to kind of engage with what in the past would have been reading material and just kind of static content. Tools, including, traditional productivity tools like Grammarly or things like that, but more advanced tools to help provide feedback on assignments and activities so that you can look for opportunities to grow and tailor your response, and a variety of other ways to use non-AI based emerging tech. So using immersive simulations and in some cases for in-person students, AR and VR type tools are still kind of in the repertoire. But this is learning by doing. There's not a one size fits all solution. We're really focused on exposing students early to the types of tools that are common in the workplace today. And we think that kind of each year or each semester as we go along, we're going to continue to iterate and tweak and kind of bring an agile mindset to how we approach curriculum. Curriculum as code means that we want each release to be slightly better and have updated material than the version that came before. Now, that's a lot to take on. We're not going to solve that everywhere at once, but we're trying to be especially proactive in our technology courses and curriculum to practice what it is we're preaching about the importance of these tools. And so we're learning, we're trying to gather data on what's effective, what actually isn't just shiny, but actually leads to better learning outcomes, and then feed that back into our broader curriculum.
Yeah, as someone that's just old enough that I entered the workforce when email was relatively a new thing, and watching some of my older peers struggle to make that transition, that's one thing I've held on to in my career is I may not have to be proficient with a tool, but I at least need to be knowledgeable about a tool and its use. At least I can communicate with those that are the experts on how we can best apply it in the workforce. And I've enjoyed that with the faculty, seeing how they've not only sought to create AI courses and AI curriculum, but integrate it throughout a student's experience so they can become, at least knowledgeable about these tools, and so they can communicate with those that are going to be on the workforce. Eventually you might see like an AI department on how you're implementing that from a workforce. And as a manager, you need to communicate. And from a DSO perspective, the nice thing is from an OPT, CPT, a lot of different jobs, there is an AI integration piece that you can add to that. And so you can leverage this degree towards workforce authorization, through OPT and CPT. But then we also have to use it responsibly. So not only from a workplace standpoint, but also as a student in the classroom, there's a lot of concerns about responsible use of AI. So if either you could address the responsible use of AI in the classroom and in the workplace.
Sandra, I'll let you start if you'd like.
We can both talk about this one. I'll say as a professor, and Dr. Cully can speak more from his position as a leader at the university, I've been really grateful for Indiana Wesleyan's willingness to explore and experiment with AI, but also to provide guiding principles. And the guiding principles aren't so much rules about every little thing that's happening with AI. I mean, as soon as you make a policy, you have to revise it for whatever came out the day before. And but we really are focused on how to help how to help the learning process. And we know that AI can undermine and, you know, it can undermine the learning. It can allow a student to completely skip meaningful learning that's required to be competent and confident out there in the real world. And we want to avoid that. However, much of that is you have to practice and experiment and talk about it. And so all of the courses that I have been a part of, either teaching or helping to develop, we have really authentic conversations about the ethics and the human intelligence and the way that that our practices are promoting the good of humanity, right? And the struggles that it is to have to think about, is this okay to do or is this not okay? Whether you're in a classroom or an office or a boardroom or out in the field somewhere, these are the conversations that everyone's having. And so I think at Indiana Wesleyan, our leadership has provided some good guidelines, but then allow us to have those conversations with our students, with each other, to really think about the big questions and to work through those answers. So again, it's not just about the curriculum that's written on the screen or in a book. We're living the curriculum. We're practicing and asking these really hard questions and having these discussions together.
AI is a tool to offload cognitive burden, and students will legitimately be tempted to offload, work that is challenging or stressful or seems onerous in whatever fashion. And part of why we as a faith-based organization really focus on the importance of character and personal integrity is that you will get out of your education the same reward that you put into it. So you have to begin with a view of clear focus on what your personal goals are for growth. And just like physical exercise, if you let a machine do the heavy lifting for you, you're not going to stretch yourself. You're not going to learn the fundamentals. You're not going to be as capable of internalizing and synthesizing the kinds of ideas that we want you to learn. And so it does take character to be able to use these tools responsibly. And we need to think and talk about that on the front end, because our students are adults and they are the first and best line of defense against using these tools for taking shortcuts that are inappropriate. And that same challenge is going to occur in the workforce. When does something need a personal touch? When does something need human oversight and involvement and investment? But we're not trying to create a firewall or block access to these tools. We want to prepare people to think wisely and let a perspective of wisdom be the way in which we kind of safeguard appropriate use. So AI in the classroom is great for a lot of things. Just to name a few of the positive benefits for why we are embracing this technology is that it can help expand one's horizon for ideation and creativity. It can help explain things and convey concepts that might be difficult across cultural barriers or language gaps. It can provide ways to distill and summarize really complicated sources of information that you might not have time to go and read and digest yourself. So for example, when we're trying to evaluate what video might be a good video to include in a new course we're building, AI can help summarize hundreds of different videos that we don't have hours and hours to all go watch every single one and vet which one's the ones worth further scrutiny. So it can provide formatting and syntax and organization and a lot of things to help take your original idea and make it clearer, more professionally presented, and more easily translatable for a wide variety of different audiences. But what we don't want to do is prevent you from learning the tools to discover new information for yourself, from being able to synthesize different ideas into your own words, to kind of take inside yourself these new concepts and wrestle with those ideas and form your own views about those ideas. We don't want AI to tell you, humanity's average opinion on controversial topic X, Y, or Z. We want you to bring your voice to your education, but let AI help amplify the best parts of your voice and to convey it in a clear and professional way. So we think there are a lot of different ways that you doing your original thinking, but using AI to accelerate your research and to sharpen your composition is the best of both worlds. But it's critically dependent that you have a motivation and an outlook focused on your personal growth, and that you guard opportunities to do the work that you want to do in class to really be transformed as a professional.
As far as the last prepared question, just take it a step past just specifically AI. What about Indiana Wesleyan and your work with our international students do you think best prepares them for the workplace here in the United States?
Dr. Mesker, I'll let you speak first. You've worked with a variety of different students.
Haven't been in every course, but I would say that in the courses that are part of our international programs, our students are exposed to real practical problems, and they get the practice of solving those, communicating, engaging. It's not everything is hands-on learning, but it's definitely engaged learning. So our courses help build your experience in the areas that you're learning. And so it's not what I would call a sit and get. You have to get up and do things and engage and interact, and it's practical experience that can be transferred to the workplace anywhere in the world.
So our identity is rooted in an applied focus, anchored in relevance for business and organizational settings. So we're not focused on every latest piece of research and theory. We're focused on real world business and organizational applications and what this looks like in practice. So we are eminently pragmatic in focusing on the content that delivers value sooner. So also, we work with thousands of international students, and we're kind of at a medium scale where we're big enough that we have a variety of pathways. So we have degrees in artificial intelligence or computer information systems, data analytics, but also the intersection of a lot of different business competencies, management competencies, leadership competencies, and the technological forces that underpin them. And so there's a breadth of learning pathways that can be customized for people going into a variety of different industries, whether it's healthcare, finance, startups, consulting, et cetera. There's kind of a way to create a pathway that's relevant for where you're trying to go. But we're not so big that students get lost in the weeds. And our adjuncts are predominantly those who are practitioners in the field who work on these kinds of challenges in the real world on a daily basis. And we prioritize that they engage and develop relationships with their students. And that's that's something that's kind of core to our mission and our identity, that we're not doing our job well if we don't make a personal connection with our student and help prepare the whole person, not just make them smart, but help make them successful in a more holistic sense as a leader, as an individual, and as a professional. And that kind of comprehensive focus and the values that we think really bear on what it means to be a successful professional. That's something that we think Indiana Wesleyan excels at and really makes a meaningful difference compared to some other options.
All right, thank you both. Samir, we'll turn it over. Any questions from participants on AI or on Indiana Wesleyan in general?
All right, yeah, sounds good. We have collected a couple questions to everybody. If you excuse me, if you don't get your question answered, go ahead and scan the QR code. We probably you'll get in touch with one of us over here at GoElite. Probably like someone like me is not going to be able to expand, like talk to you in depth about the theory and pedagogical practice of the AI programs at IWU, but I can kind of help guide you with like admissions and recruitment, and also put you in touch with the team there. Again, so the consultation, to get in touch with us for consultation, go ahead and scan the QR code on the left for Chinese consultation on WeChat, or on the right for English consultation on WhatsApp. And the rewards program I mentioned earlier, if you do want to just learn about like all the different hybrid programs that we partner with, go ahead and scan this QR code on the right. You can give feedback, you can refer your friends, and as you do these tasks, you can get points that you can redeem for cash or gift cards. So this first question is a little large. I'm not sure if we want to go through like all of the
I'm happy to just jump in
Yeah.
and try and hit a few of these if you're okay with that.
Yeah, go for it. Yeah.
Sure. So our primary focus is applied, and that means that we do not require an undergraduate degree in computer science or mathematics the way some research-based universities might focus. So this is a curriculum that offers a couple different interdisciplinary tracks. So the Master of Science in Artificial Intelligence is meant to be broadly applicable to anyone who thinks they want to use quantitative skills and data-driven decision-making, but doesn't necessarily have just a STEM background, doesn't necessarily want to be an AI researcher. So anywhere that you might need to do data and analytics using AI tools, that's the MSAI degree. So it's not programming heavy, but there's also a Master of Science in Computer Information Systems, so MS in CIS, that focuses on AI. So it's got an AI specialization. Now that program track offers a mix where there are some classes on programming, but again, it doesn't require that you've had a programming or computer science background. And so it's a halfway step where it's still applied, but it lets you go a level deeper and seeing a little more about how the algorithms work, how models are trained. And, we use tools from data science like R and Tableau, SQL. We use tools in AI, primarily Python, but you'll at least see a little bit of TensorFlow. But we are not trying to create proficient coders and programmers. What we're trying to do is help unlock the power of generative AI tools to make it easier for non-experts to customize all the existing commercial capabilities out there for particular business needs. So we're helping you get over the learning curve of what AI tools are out there, what does it take to figure out what they can do, and then how can I take a real world business problem like, hey, I'm in human resources, I need to use AI to better talent management. Okay, what would that look like? What steps would you go through to evaluate the right tool, the right fit, train the data, identify sources of bias? But again, that pathway is not coding heavy. And so that's why some of the courses, so I'll just mention some of the titles, for example, in the AI curriculum are things like machine learning fundamentals, AI model development, the use of large language models for generative artificial intelligence, how to engineer your prompts, so prompt engineering and kind of the competencies of writing good prompts. We also talk about responsible and ethical artificial intelligence and how to develop the right framework for AI that's safe and fair and equitable. We also talk about some of the cloud-based systems that AI tools interact with. So how to structure and manage data systems in the cloud so that AI can ingest and access data and software applications that are in Amazon Web Services or Google Cloud or elsewhere. So hopefully that at least touches on a few of those kind of curriculum-based questions. So again, I would say it's not meant to be a theoretical curriculum. We're not also getting into all the philosophical predictions of the future. This is about what is AI doing now that's relevant to the business marketplace, and how can I, as a IT professional or as a software developer or as a manager, use these types of tools to make smarter, better decisions in my company or organization.
Yeah, okay, cool. That's actually, so I mean, I think you guys have kind of been like, emphasizing this throughout, but this like pretty exciting actually, that so it sounds like this is not so much about like, oh, like how to develop an AI model, but rather for like, people in all sorts of different fields, how can they like harness and adapt to like this the technology of AI in different fields. If I'm understanding it correctly.
Yeah, because most of the leading AI models are these foundational models that have tens of billions of parameters and have been trained on massive networks. And really what's necessary is to figure out how to customize those tools that already exist. So whether it's Gemini or ChatGPT or Copilot, it's understanding what these tools can and can't do. So it's kind of comparing the landscape of what already exists and then figuring out what is it a fit for and what level of adaptation is required by my organization in order to be able to use these tools to solve problems I care about. And the beauty of where we're at technologically is that not a lot of in-depth coding is necessary, and sometimes you can get the tool to write the code for you that you need to do the work. And so again, there is a role for computer scientists in pushing the state of the art, but we are not about inventing a new state of the art. We are about tailoring the state of the art for the kinds of challenges that are all around us.
I wanted to add a couple of answers to the questions about the language models and AI tools that are being taught in the class. Those are obviously constantly changing, or new ones emerge or are announced. And so our curriculum is really about looking at what's current. We want our curriculum to be current, and so it's not as prescriptive as maybe other content in other curriculum or courses is. And that allows students to explore what's there today and have those, again, real world practices. So for example, they might be like, each student is given a different scenario based on an interest that they have in an industry, and they have to select 3 different models that are current to evaluate them, establish criteria for that evaluation, and then make a recommendation on that. Those types of activities are the real kinds of work that we hope that they would be able to do in a job. And so one of the things that we have begun building into at least the AI core program is a professional portfolio. It is really hard to find a job in tech, and part of what we can help students do is to communicate their competencies and their interests. And because this is such an emerging field, sometimes what we have to do is educate employers about what they might be looking for. And so, they probably use ChatGPT to write a job description. And so we're trying to help students be prepared for looking for jobs. We did an activity in our last residency where we just searched job postings, because those are even new on a regular basis. Like, oh, look, here's a new type of AI role. And so trying to stay current and prepare our students for what is possible.
So on the job question, I'll just add that yes, traditional software development is a very volatile field, and there's a lot of hiring and firing of large numbers by the big tech companies. And being a high-end coder is a very competitive skill, but there's a larger swath of organizations that are earlier in kind of this digital adoption, and they need people who know how to do a regular job, but also know how to integrate technology with that regular job. And that this intersectionality of a business competence. So let's say IT management, but you also know how to use AI, finance, but you know how to use AI, healthcare, but you know how to use AI. Those are the people that will be more valuable because they're bringing an intersectionality of skills that crosses both kind of a business domain, but also a technological competency. That's what's going to be attractive. But to be effective at that, it's also important that we prepare you with the right soft skills, including communication and leadership and management, that you can not just be a good team member, but that you're equipped to be an effective leader. And so that's why really technology leadership involves change management skills, and we try to find opportunities to mix that into the curriculum. And then as for whether we forbid AI or not, it's in the courses we're talking about, you can use AI if you cite and document your use, and that you use it to research or refine your own original thinking, but you don't use it to write the response for you. So you need to explain something in your own words, and you can use AI to help you develop that or to help you refine that. But we want you to be personally invested in expressing your voice and not copying and pasting from GPT. So that's kind of the high level guidelines, and we help coach people in what that looks like if they have questions.
No, thanks for your really thoughtful answers. And to kind of address this student's question about finding a job in tech, what it's sounding like is I mean, the overall theme of this is not that this master's isn't really necessarily just preparing you for a job in tech. It's preparing you for jobs that you may already be doing, or you actually may already have the skills for, but you can kind of bring it to the next level by bringing AI integration. So actually that is kind of an advantage, because that really expands the kinds of jobs that will be relevant, or that you can kind of be looking for with this AI program. And I'm also gonna, since I know we are running really short on time, again, if you have your question that hasn't been addressed already, and thank you both for addressing multiple questions at once in a synthesized fashion. I found that it's really easy to digest. I'll just go ahead. Maybe Nathan, if you want to talk about this, but I think this is kind of just to sum up what we've been talking about in terms of what kind of job roles for an AI could be eligible for CPT, where CPT approval needs to be based on the relationship of your job to the coursework. So what I'm hearing again is that, there's a lot of job roles that have some excuse me. But we're having a lot of jobs and having a lot of fields that are increasingly adopting AI or could benefit from AI. So again, for CPT approval, no matter whether you're at Indiana Wesleyan or at any other school, CPT approval is based on the relationship between your job and the degree that you are pursuing and the coursework, right? So really go ahead it's really hard to give a blanket answer. Will whatever job be eligible for CPT in this coursework? unless you have like a one-to-one match between like the job title and the job and the course that you're pursuing, what I would really always recommend students to do, go ahead and actually look at the curriculum, go ahead and look at what you'll be learning, and also go ahead and like examine the job responsibilities, either if you're already working, like think about like what you're doing in your job, how are you using AI, or if you're looking for a job, go ahead and look at like how do these jobs like incorporate AI into them, compare that and really see if the connection there, because that is at the end of the day how like CPT is going to be like approved. And that actually brings us to 4:45 or on the Pacific time, 7:45 Eastern time. So that is the end of our webinar. If you do have a question that wasn't addressed, please get in touch with GoElite. And thank you to all of our wonderful speakers today.
Thanks.